What is up, everybody? This is Will Tiller and Mike Maddox here with 10-4 Broadcasting, and the stakes couldn't be higher here tonight, Mike, as we are starting off week one of the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series. And tonight, we hit the big track that is Texas Motor Speedway. And how excited are you here tonight to finally be back here in the High Octane Sim Series?
Looking forward to race one of the playoffs, especially here at Texas Motor Speedway. Gen 5 cars, 6 cars actually, on the big, flat out super speedway, as I call it, but it is actually a speedway here tonight. We're running Texas at night, the way it looks. I know last week we had the All-Star race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the participation. Looks like we're going to get ready to grid here very shortly, and we are going to head live down the pit road to give you the starting lineup. Leading off in this race number one is on the pole, the 89. Matthew has been dominant so far.
Yes, sir, Mike, and we are rocking and rolling here tonight. Starting off P1, of course, it's our regular season champ. That is Matthew Badby in that 89.
Alex, number 23, rolls off P2. Followed by Riley Hoots. We always see Matthew and Riley 1 and 3, or 2 and 4. Riley in that 24 car. Nick Offord in that number 22 this evening, followed by Rye Lewis for Big Dog Racing, I should say, as you put it. P6 is Kevin Burlock in the 62, followed by Matthew Wilson in that legendary number 48. Parker Collins rolls out P8 in that 54. Again for Big Dog Racing. P9, Kelly Thomas in that 51. And we'll be showing you guys some possibly throwback schemes that we see a couple on track so far. P10, Alan Bledsoe. P11 is Nick in the number 8 for Black Bullet Racing. And rounding out your field will be Brian Clark in the number 31, racing out of New England. Here's your race break info before we get ready to go green here. Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas, about 1.46 mile. Looks like track temp is about 88 degrees. Clear skies, winds 2 miles per hour to the north, so it's going to be a little tricky here tonight.
And I believe, Mike, I just can't hear you on my end here. I think you might be muted here up in the booth. I just can't hear you on my headset, but man, I am excited about the action here tonight at Texas here, ladies and gentlemen. It is about to go down here in the High Octane Sim Series. This is race one of the playoffs, and as Mike went through that starting grid with you and talked about who's going to be leading the way here, that's Matthew Badby in that 89, the regular season champ with 5 wins on the season, and be on the lookout for him. He also won the All-Star race here in this event, but here we go. We're green, 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 green.
As we see the drivers running hard in 1 and 2.
There we go, Mike. Man, what a race this is going to be here tonight. This is lap 1. Looks like Matthew Badby is going to lead the way around here. And Mike, I was going to ask you, for somebody that's familiar with Texas, what are the folks at home in store for here tonight at a speedway that's a little bit wider than, say, like a Charlotte or an Atlanta, but still has that top speed of like a Daytona or Talladega?
Well, I mean, you basically said it. It's like it's more like a Atlanta, I'm gonna say, Chicagoland type style racetrack. The Chicagoland backstretch turns like Atlanta. Yeah, I think the front stretch more like a Charlotte. You're going to see some high, fast racing as we have a new race leader in the 24, Riley Hoots. Oh, looks like Riley's having a little bit of internet connection. Again, new race leader, Riley Hoots. Something you're going to be looking at tonight is fast speeds. Yes, you can go full throttle, but the thing is, you can go full throttle, but you can also burn your tires out. 1 and 2, you're not going to be full throttle. The first couple laps, you're mostly going to be feathering into the corner. But 3 and 4, you are full throttle. You see side by side here for third place. As Nick tries to take the inside on the 22 of Alex. Ooh, hard racing right there.
Yes, sir. And look at that. Matthew Badby wants that lead back so bad as they dig down into the corner, trying to find his way around Riley Hoots in that 24. Now, Riley was one of those drivers that was really starting to come on strong there, Mike, towards the end of the regular season. Just didn't get the victory he was hoping for. Made it into the playoffs on points. But he's looking to win here tonight and boost his way to that championship, because everything reset, ladies and gentlemen. Once this playoff race started out here in the High Octane Sim Series, everything reset other than Matthew Badby picking up 10 bonus points for winning the All-Star race. Everything is squared to 0, Mike. So whoever wins here tonight is definitely going to put themselves in prime position for that championship. See big racing out of those big dog racing cars. Man, it feels good to be back here in the High Octane Sim Series. As you see, Parker Collins is up there with Alex Tallman. Also, you see that Rye Lewis did actually make the playoffs here, ladies and gentlemen, in the High Octane Sim Series. Good for the big dog racing team there to have, I think their whole stable made the playoffs, Mike.
I believe so, but I believe Rye is not running the playoff banner, so we have to get confirmation that he did make the playoffs.
Oh, that's true, yeah. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, there are playoff banners on those championship race cars here tonight. You see that nice yellow stripe on the windshield and the back wing there. Take a good look at those, man. What a regular season it was, Mike. We saw Matthew Badby pick up 5 wins. Then Parker Collins really gave him a run for the money towards the end of the regular season there, picking up 3 wins himself.
Definitely Parker. Some momentum going into this playoff round 1. Definitely a whole new ball game.
It truly is here, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a look at the battles that are ensuing between, I believe that is between teammates there. No, Nick Alford's on the outside, but we got 3 teammates lining up on that inside lane there, Mike. They're trying to get around the 89 of Matthew Badby, while Badby's battling Riley Hoots for that lead right now. Man, this racing is just getting crazy already. We're not even 10 laps into this High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 1 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now, Mike, as we see a battle for the lead ensuing there, you see Alex Tallman's trying to make a move on Badby on the inside there. See if he's got enough speed. He's going to get a nice push from Parker Collins there in that 54. Just not enough to get around that 89 just yet. And you'll see big runs down into the corner there for Alex Tallman. He's really trying to make his way around that 89, see if he has enough speed here going to the backstretch. He's got his teammate Parker Collins right behind him. He unofficially finished 2nd in the regular season, so be on the lookout for that 54 machine to make big moves here in the playoffs. Look at Brian Clark in that 31. He's battling Rye Lewis back there. Now looks like he's battling Nick Alford for their spot just inside the top 5. Now, Mike, Nick actually got into the playoffs here for only running, I'd say, about top 5s and 2 top 10s, something like that. So he made his season count, if you will, in those few races.
Definitely. We talked with Nick saying that he needed a win in order to get into the playoffs, and he ended up, getting in by points, I believe. Got enough points at the end to sneak in the championship. It's a hard battle.
That big battle is already ensuing between Brian Clark and Ryan Lewis there. Oh man, that was almost disaster up at the top there.
Side-by-side action here for second. Teammates running hard, and this is what you want, folks. Some great hard battles. Teammates or not, you're here to battle for a championship.
But you see the strategy being played by those I almost said tiny dog racing team, but the way they raced in the regular season, I'm going to go with the big dog racing team. The way the strategy that they're actually implementing here, I don't know if the folks at home are catching on to this, but they're almost using a two-car blocker to keep Matthew Badby out of that lead. You see the 23 and the 54 kind of rotate inside-outside lanes there, and you see Matthew Badby's just trying to find a way around those two cars. He just can't, and what that's doing is keeping the 89 out of that clean air, letting the 24 run his race, but when it comes time for them to overtake, they'll have two cars to overtake, but it's keeping that fast car, the 89, out of that lead position. So keep an eye out on that strategy being played out here throughout tonight's race. I know everybody was chasing the 89 here in the regular season. You're almost seeing it being played out again here in the playoffs, Mike.
Yeah, you're starting fresh, but guess what? You're still taking the momentum for the first half of the season to this championship, race number 1. And it's still anybody's game. Race number 1, full slate, you're back to the same amount of points as everybody else.
You see we have a battle for the lead. And oh, man. Ensuing right now, as you see Parker Collins in that 54 is going to the inside to try to get around Riley Hoots. He's got his partner right behind him. Alex Tallman's trying to push him just a bit to try to get up there into the lead. As you see, they're going side by side into the corner. And it looks like he's going to overtake for the lead on that backstretch. Big aggressive move on the exit of the corner there. Parker Collins is going to take over in that 54. Now leading the way here at Texas Motor Speedway in race number 1 of the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series. And Parker ran, man, an awesome regular season, picking up 3 wins on the season just behind Matthew Badby there. We almost had a battle for the regular season championship there towards the end, but with Matthew Badby's 5th win of the season, that locked up the regular season championship for him. And he not only wrapped it up there on the last race, watching the in-car camera view of Riley Hoots here. These in-car camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. Man, that was a close move there.
Definitely, we see hard side-by-side action here for the race lead, and now a battle for second.
And Mike, if we could stay on board with Riley here and keep an eye out on that speedometer down in the corner. Riley's racing out of Palm Bay, Florida. Another Florida boy here. Finished P2 in the second in the standings last season. 1 series win at Michigan in season 1. So he's trying to finally get himself a championship here in the High Octane Sim Series. But we'll keep on board here. If we can pop that speedometer right on place there. There's not much letting off here at Texas, Mike. I'd see that the speed kind of drops down only about 20 miles an hour on those corners, and then you get right back on the gas.
Correct. So in you notice turns 1 and 2 is where you're mostly off the throttle. 3 and 4 should be flat out, but we see these drivers, backing off just a tad bit. Try to conserve those tires.
Yeah, this is quite a race so far, but it's interesting to see that there's not much for people that are unfamiliar with simulator racing, Mike. How much are you letting off of the pedal there? Is it just a little bit, just an ultra sensitive amount, just to drop those 20 miles an hour onto the corners, or are you just kind of like letting your foot up off the gas and then get right back on it?
you're basically off about 10, 15. Well, me, I would be off about 10 to 15%. Some of these pro drivers, I know they're off about 5%, if best. But yeah, they get paid to do this, so they're in it for mostly weeks on end practicing. The same track, different conditions, different track states. Because anything could change in the race. As we see the 23 there get a little bit loose on the inside there.
Oh man, they are side by side, Mike, going down the front stretch here. I think Riley Hoots wants to try to get that lead back, but he's got some cars to navigate through.
It's going to be a battle for third place. As we see the 23 of Alex just clip that little white line towards the apron, and just get loose and come up the track.
And you see these battles ensuing up here at the top, Mike, but what's happening, we take a jump to that second pack there. When they run single file like that and they have that draft line building up between those four cars, they're really starting to pull away from the rest of the field. I think we're up to about a 3.5, 4 seconds between the top four and Rye Lewis there in 5th position. And that's just because you see the tandem drafting there where they just link up really good. You have that clean air running through everybody. They're not really battling each other too much there at the top pack. And what that makes is it forms a train. And once that train forms up, they can just start hitting lines, and they'll pull away from the rest of the field. And we're really starting to see it here tonight at Texas. Mike, what do you think it's going to take for the second half of these race cars here that are outside of the top four to catch those leaders? Is it going to take them kind of maybe letting people link up with them and finding their way to the front, or do you think it's just going to take an old-fashioned caution flag?
It's going to take I'm going to say a lucky caution flag, because we've seen going in 1 and 2 that the 20 and the 31 are entering way too high.
Right.
They're staying high. That's a big no-no, especially at this track. I've learned that, and this comes from watching videos with Tyler Hudson and talking to other drivers like Malik Ray and other pro drivers, is that you want to be as low as possible, especially in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, yes, you want to enter high, but you want to come down, or arc it, or diamond, I should say. Diamond it low. Being up like they are, it saves tires, but how much more are you going to save tires when the top four are pulling away?
Yeah, Mike, tires and fuel mileage are always the name of the game here in the high octane sim series. We've seen it throughout the regular season, Mike. What do you think is going to be the strategy that's going to be implemented the most here tonight? As you were just speaking about tires there, do you think it's going to be teamwork? Do you think it's going to be a fuel strategy? What do you think is going to be the end game for somebody putting that car into victory lane?
I think if I do my calculations, it might be more strategy race than it is anything else. The first couple laps, I guess you should say, stage of the race, these drivers will be, learning the track, seeing where they can run, how hard they can run, what kind of limits these tires will give, how much tire wear is running. Because when these guys practice, it's mostly during the daytime, so they don't have the option to get that feedback. As we see side by side action there for third, Riley Hoots, and 23 of Alex. I think I see the touch there in the previous lap. There's side by side, as you can see, side by side action. First and second place are getting away. But this is what Rye Lewis and I believe it's the 62 I just seen battling up. The 62 has now entered the battle here. 62 is in the 01 this evening.
But it's Kevin Bullock in that 01 machine there.
this is what these guys want to see. They want to see them battling it out, catch some of these leaders.
Yeah, Mike, you start seeing those two cars pull away there, and that is not good news for the rest of the field, especially if it's these two guys up at the top of Parker Collins and Matthew Badby. Those two, I don't want to say they dominated the season, Mike, but those are the guys that we got to know the most because those guys combined for 8 wins in the regular season. They had 5 wins from Matthew Badby and 3 wins from Parker Collins, so those guys, to see those guys 1-2 here in the first playoff race here in the High Octane Sim Series doesn't bode well for the rest of the field, in my opinion.
Definitely, as we're running on board the back of the 89, as we see in his mirror, the 23 and 24 are both Alex and Riley trying to catch back up to the field.
And it's a pretty interesting play format here in the High Octane Sim Series. After this race here
we see
tonight,
contact with the wall.
oh no!
See the 89 scraped that wall coming at a 4.
Maybe just got a little lackadaisical on the driving there, Mike. Just got a little.
Right front. That's definitely gonna change the outcome of that car.
For folks at home that's not familiar with how real the damage is here in iRacing, what kind of disadvantages now is the 89 going to have with that little tiny scrape on the wall?
I'm not really sure that's a little tiny scrape. That was let's just slam it. As you can see in the right side of this car, that little fender flare bent it in. That's definitely going to change the handling. Maybe be a lot tighter in the corners. That's definitely for sure. As you see right there, right front, not the fender, but the fender flare. And that is the
part I see it, yeah.
That's between the driver's side and the front bumper. Definitely going to have an impact on his driving style.
Not seeming to slow him down just yet, Mike. When we get that first competition caution here at Texas, I'm sure he'll head to pit road and get that thing repaired as fast as possible. But it's not going to bode well for him in that 89 machine, as we are just about 40 laps in here at the race at Texas. This is race number 1 here in the playoffs of the High Octane Sim Series. We couldn't be more excited to be with you folks again here. I know me and Mike missed the All-Star race last weekend, but it was just the same old again, Mike, as Matthew Badby won that race. It was a combination between the Cup drivers and the Xfinity drivers here in the High Octane Sim Series, and by winning that race, Mike, he comes into the playoffs with 10 bonus points. So a win here tonight, plus 10 bonus points, man, he'll just start off where he left off in the regular season.
Most definitely. As you can see, that damage Matthew is definitely hurting him as Alex and Riley, they're catching him. They're catching him fast.
Yes, they are, Mike. That gap is starting to close. But that also is not good news for Parker Collins in that 54, because as Matthew Badby starts to slow down from that damage on that wall scrape there, and Alex Tallman and Riley Hoot start to catch up to him, they're going to form a 3-car tandem. Once they do that, Mike, that air is going to start flowing through those 3 cars, and that speed between those 3 cars is going to be a lot more faster than Parker Collins in that 54. As you see, Alex Tallman's going to dig to the inside and try to make a move here as we have our first caution on the track here, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is our first competition caution, unless there was some action on the track.
I believe this is a competition caution. My notes are saying that there was no crashes, no accidents, which is good for these competitors. But as you see, the graphics in the track, some of these tracks that iRacing has updated to the newest specs since they originally scanned. Definitely shows a lot more graphics in this. Definitely a perfect view, as we've seen in previous IndyCar races, NASCAR races here at Texas.
And Mike, I think this is the perfect caution. I'm going to go check with race control to see what brought out that caution, but I think it's time to tempt those folks with some of the best barbecue we've seen in a while.
Oh man, now you're getting me hungry. Speaking of food, we're going to be talking about Captain Jack's Smokehouse Barbecue Chicken. And for those of you at home, oh man, look at that amazing meal.
Oh man.
Lovely barbecue, brisket, mashed potatoes. Oh man. You know,
Man, Mike,
it is if you're
every time you throw that up there, you make me so hungry.
If you're under 21, please do not drink, and if you are over 21, drink responsibility.
Yes, sir, Mike, but you can't get enough of that Captain Jack Smokehouse, and as Mike was telling you, this is the best barbecue I've seen in a while. I definitely can't find this type of barbecue down here in Florida. Maybe I'm just not going to the right spots, but if you are familiar or in the area of Captain Jack's, go check them out on Facebook. They do have a Facebook page. Go check them out on Google as well. And if you're close enough, maybe they have DoorDash, or maybe just hop in the car and go pick it up to watch the end of the race here. But definitely go check out Captain Jack's Smokehouse there on Amelia Island. Man, Mike, that picture is... I wish we had taste-o-vision and smell-o-vision here in the booth.
Most definitely, you know. I get home late and I got my food directly behind me, so hopefully it's still a little warmed up and heated up for after the end of this race.
Yes, sir. I believe we were cooking chicken wings here at the house and just getting on the stream there. The grill went out, so it made cooking a little bit longer, so I missed out on the chicken wings, but hopefully they left me a few to munch on after tonight's action. But what an action-packed stage one that was, Mike. We saw a couple of battles for the lead ensuing. We didn't see many cautions or many people get loose or craziness ensue. We did see a few lead changes, which makes this race really competitive towards the end.
Definitely, and it also bunches up the field again. Go check here in the back to see if... looks like he did... I believe they do get a fast repair in this league. I'm not positive on that. But it looks like he did get some of the damage fixed. You can see that right front fender flare.
Yes, sir. And was speaking with race control just a little while ago. They informed me that was our first stage there at lap 40. Second stage is going to end at lap 80. So big congratulations for Parker Collins picking up that stage victory. Not sure how much stage points count here in the playoffs, but again, big win for Parker in that 54. As many points as you can start to gather as these playoff races ensue, as there's only 4 races here in the playoffs. You really want to start padding up those points as we are about to go green flag racing once again here at Texas Motor Speedway. And these boys are racing with 5 sets of tires in tonight's event, Mike. So if that plays into that tire strategy at all, we will wait and see. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go green, green, green once again here in playoff race number 1 at Texas. As you see, Alex Thomas trying to get to the inside of Parker Collins there in that 54. Thought about just a little bit on the exit. Followed right behind Parker in that 54. They're still trying to get around him down into the corner. As you see, Parker starting to get a big jump. Man, Mike, it feels so good to be back in these stock cars. We've been calling modifieds now for about the last week and a half. It is good to see these race cars hit the track here at Texas. I know we missed the All-Star race last weekend, but man, they slid and slided around that track, Mike. Matthew Badby was the winner in the All-Star race, but we see Matthew Badby is all the way down to the 8th position there, Mike, as he did take that damage bouncing off the wall there just before the end of stage 1. He's got some work to do to climb his way back up into the field, Mike. But if I have faith in anybody to do it, is definitely the 89 machine of Matthew Badby. As you see, Big Dog Racing has a few of their drivers up there in the top 5 already, Mike. You got Parker Collins in that 54, Alex Tallman in that 23, Rye Lewis in that 20, all battling it out there in the top 5. Man, we spoke to Rye during that last regular season race, Mike, and he just, and his teammates had the same sentiments. They really wanted to get that 20 machine into the playoffs. Maybe they were trying to push him across victory lane there, but Rye did make it in on point, so did what he had to do here to make it into the playoffs, and you see the strategies that are being implemented in that Big Dog Racing stable with that 20 machine here in the playoffs, right?
Yes, and we were talking about Matthew there. The start of this restart, looks like we're going to have a new race leader in that 23 of Alex there, followed by teammate in that 54, Parker Collins. But we talked about, the 89 getting some damage fixed there on pit road. So the one thing you're going to learn is later in this race, the track's definitely changing, so which means the car is going to change, the way you drive is going to change. So definitely going to be a big difference here for these drivers here tonight.
And Mike, they do run real weather settings here in the High Octane Sim Series. What are the folks at home going to keep an eye out for as the weather starts to change here at Texas? What are some of the things we should keep an eye out for?
Well, the big thing is the track time. The cooler it gets, the more slick or more grippy it gets. So which means these cars are going to be gripping to that track a lot better. Oh, as we see caution!
Oh no!
Big problems.
Man, that's the 42 of Alan Bledsoe there. The 01 of Kevin Bullock. Man, and I think Rye Lewis may have been caught up in that as well, Mike. And that is our first on-track caution here in race number 1 of the playoffs of the High Octane Sim Series. We'll rev up that 10-4 broadcast and replay for you folks at home to see what brought out the... Oh, man.
We were talking about the...
Oof.
The 20 there of Rye Lewis. Looks like...
hard impact.
Looks like he used that bumper.
Hard impact for the 42 of Alan Bledsoe there. You see maybe the 01 just checked up just a little bit as you saw him creeping up on the 24 of Riley Hoot. I'm not sure why the 20 clipped that back fender there.
Looks like he got hard into the corner.
Yeah.
Tried to save it, and then got finished off.
Man. What a first caution, Mike. And I know Alan was talking about how he was trying his best here to make tonight's race in that 42 machine. And man, just to start off stage number 2, he takes a hard impact into the wall there. Not the way to start things off here, Mike, but the 20, man, we were just talking about that Big Dog Racing team having those cars that stable. All of them are in the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series. And what a stable that is, Mike, out of the Big Dog Racing team with Parker Collins. You got Rye Lewis up there, Alex Tallman. Awesome iRacers so far in this series as we look at Alan Bledsoe there. Took a hard impact into the wall. Man, he was second in the points with those without a win, so ran an awesome regular season. Just didn't pick up that victory he was looking for, and tonight's going to be even harder as he took that hard impact.
We've seen the 42 there use a fast repair. That's where an iRacing you're eligible to be given fast repairs. Some leagues do not use it. Some other leagues do. I believe they have 2 or 1 fast repair. So I believe the 42 has taken its fast repair. As you see, it came in as a modified and going back out as a brand new car.
Yeah, Mike, if you guys want some modified action, definitely check us out here at 10-4 Broadcasting. If you haven't done so, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, because, Mike, breaking news, we added a new series to our broadcasting schedule here at 10-4 Broadcasting. We're going to be bringing you late model action on Friday nights here. On May 27th, we're going to be running 2 broadcasts at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. So don't you worry, all you high-octane Sim Series fans. This series will definitely be priority, but we will be broadcasting the late model, I think it's the Eastern Late Model Series, Mike, and that is the sister league of the East Coast Modified Series there. We also bring you live action at the Virtual Racing Association that also runs Modified. So if you love Modifieds, you love that type of action, definitely tune back in here with us on Sunday, Tuesday, and now Friday nights as well, Mike.
Definitely, we see the action on Sunday night. You know, they put on a great show. Come on board to support the guys on Tuesday nights.
We'll get those fixed for you, ladies and gentlemen, at the folks at home. See what exactly is occurring with that YouTube page there, but we encourage anybody that can hear us to jump over to Facebook. We are live there as well, as Alan Bledsoe is leading the way here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is race number 1 of the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series. You see a battle ensuing between Matthew Badby, who's trying to get up there as well. Kevin Bullock, this is quite a change in the top 5 that we saw to start things off here, ladies and gentlemen. We see Kevin Bullock's really trying to make his name known here in these playoffs in that 0-1 machine. But he is not a championship driver, as you don't see a yellow banner on that race car. But he is trying to pick up some wins here towards the end of the season here. With only 4 races in this playoff format here, ladies and gentlemen, it is crucial to try to rack up as many points as you can, maybe rack up as many victories as you can. As you saw, Matthew Badby won 5 races in the regular season. Parker Collins picked up 3, so I think Parker Collins went back-to-back like Drake here in the High Octane Sim Series, so be on the lookout for that here, ladies and gentlemen. If a driver can win one week, they definitely can go back-to-back here. But what a crazy format it is, because after this race here at Texas Motor Speedway, we head to Daytona, and after that is the Charlotte Road Course. Then we head to Michigan, and then we go to sunny Miami Beach at Homestead. So that is the 4 races here in the playoff format. Still taking a look at some of these big dog racing machines that are trying to work their way back up into the lead. But you see Parker Collins and Alex Tallman are trying to link up to try to catch that 1-2-3 tandem there we got at the top. I believe we're looking at around a 3-second gap between the top 3 and number 4 of Parker Collins, Mike. So they're already starting to pull away once again here on these green flag runs.
Again, that's the advantage of these fresh tires. Seen on that last pit stop, the 42, the 01, and the 89, they ended up coming down pit road to get 4 fresh tires, while Parker Collins, Alex in the 23, Riley in the 24, Nick in the 22, Kelly in the 51, have all been on pit road once for service. Everybody else has hit the pit lane twice for tires, so we see, tires definitely be a big gamble here.
They're
And
definitely
you also talked about it, 5 sets of tires. So you take 5 sets and you divide the race into 5. That's how many, average laps you can get on the tires. If you ended up using all 5 sets. If you're using all, 4 sets that have 1 as a green, white, checkered, then you do 180 divided by 4. And that's what gets you to how many laps on tires you're going to use. We've seen at Dover this past weekend that, we went back to racing and it just had caution. and the entire teams kept, kept hearing on the radio. The teams were like, "Oh my, we're almost out of tires." That's a big gamble. NASCAR did not give them an extra set of tires because of the weather, so you had to work with what you got. In the past, we see the smaller teams end up closing out early or getting out early, so we see a battle for the lead. That you could swap tires with another car or another team inside your stable. Those do not happen anymore. You get your set of tires, so it's 9 sets, I think it was, for Dover. That's it.
Man, what a strategy. I appreciate you busting out the handy-dandy calculator there, Mike. My math wasn't a strong suit for me in school, so there was no way I would have figured that out. But it looks like Alan Bledsoe and Matthew Badby are really battling it out for the race lead here. This is wild, Mike. And Alan Bledsoe, like I said, took that hard impact onto the wall there to bring out our first on-track caution. But it seems to have recovered pretty well from that hard impact. And you saw it just out of the corner of the camera there. You saw how big of a gap that these three cars have on the rest of the field with 8 laps here left in stage number 2. There's Alex Tallman in that 23. Now, Alex Tallman is in the 4th place position. You see the graph up in the corner of your screen there, folks. It's about a 3.5 second lead between the 3rd place car and the 4th place car. And you see these starting to happen on these green flag runs, Mike. Once a tandem starts to form, you can really pull away from the rest of the field. But what that tends to do, and what I tend to see in that situation, is that sometimes you get left out on what I like to call Rebus Island. If you are out there all by yourself with no teammates, no help, you really have to race your own race. You have to make decisions on your own, especially if you're that 3rd place car, because you're going to have nobody to work with. So if you try to make an aggressive move, you can really lose a lot of track position.
Most definitely you could. The one thing, we see these drivers like Alex and Riley, they didn't take tires the last caution, which means they're gambling and trying to save the extra set of tires. You figure Alex pitted once, Riley pitted twice, Parker pitted once. You think, what? We still got 4 sets of tires yet. Meanwhile, the leaders of Alan, Matthew, and Kevin, they pitted twice, so they only have 3 sets left.
Yes, sir. It just opens the way for competitive action here towards the end of the race. We are creeping up on the end of stage 2 here, Mike, and who would have thought it'd be Alan Bledsoe leading the way here, holding off Matthew Badby in that 89. Alan's one of those drivers that made it into the playoffs. He was almost an automatic qualifier, Mike, I would say, but he was just outside of those top 5 drivers that qualified with those wins, or on points, shall I say. And Alan was just below those drivers with the most points without a win. So if there's ever a time to pick up a win here in the High Octane Sim Series, it comes in the playoffs, Mike, because one win in a 4-race playoff format can really position yourself really nicely, especially if he picks up the stage 2 victory towards the end of this championship run.
Definitely, every point, we only got 4 races in this playoff, and every point does count.
Yes, sir, indeed. So for Alan to pick up the stage 2 victory here, it would be a huge momentum boost for him heading to, I believe, next week's race here in the playoffs. We head to Daytona. So that is going to be a wide open race for these drivers here in the High Octane Sim Series, especially for Matthew Badby and that Big Dog Racing team. They do really well at those super speedways. But as you can see, tonight's field is minus a few drivers. There was some severe thunderstorms, severe storms, shall I say, that were going through the area of a lot of these drivers here tonight. So We just want to wish them all the best and make sure they are safe wherever they are at home. It's very hard to do this if your internet's not staying on, or maybe just the power is not staying on if it's a severe thunderstorm like that. So we want to send all of our best wishes and our thoughts and everything to those drivers who couldn't make tonight's race because of inclement weather. But we will see those drivers back in the field next week at Daytona here. But Mike, there we go. It looks like Alan Bledsoe is going to be our Stage 2 victor here in the race number 1 of the High Octane Sim Series playoffs. What a big stage victory that was for Alan.
Definitely. And you noticed, coming out of turn 2, that last lap, the 89 of Matthew got tight and almost hit the wall. He actually had to back out of the car in order to not hit that wall. And you've seen the 0-1 of Kevin there, trying to make a move on the inside, but, Matthew still had the momentum. Bottom as we're here for our second Stage 2.
We'll see if we can't bring Alan in for a quick chat as he picks up that stage victory there. Hey, Alan, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I'm out of gas.
Oh, no. Oh, no, he's out of gas, folks. He's going to have to get a push to pit road there as we get a quick chat with this the Stage 2 victory out of Kenny Power Motorsports. Alan, we saw you take a hard impact on that first on-track caution, if you will. But you were able to use that fast repair and climb your way up into the lead. Kind of take us through your point of view of the race so far and what you think what it's going to take home the victory here tonight.
Well, it's going to take not running out of gas, first off, and the second, it's gonna be a really tough fight. Yeah, I'm out of gas, guys. I'm sorry.
No problem. We'll let you go and fill that tank up, but just want to wish you all the best here the rest of the race, Alan, and what a way it was to pick up the Stage 2 victory, and hopefully we'll speak to you in victory lane here at the end.
Yeah, it'll be awesome if I can get that win, especially during the playoffs. But thanks, guys.
Of course. That was Alan Bledsoe, Mike. I wasn't expecting that when we brought him up here into the booth. I think that was the first time we've ever brought a driver in. They were running out of fuel at the same time. Oh, no!
And he overshot his box. He can't back up.
Oh, gosh.
He's got to take the tow. I think it's about a minute. A half tow.
Oh, no. What a big swing for Alan Bledsoe in that 42, Mike. Gosh, we were just talking about strategy and what it's going to take to win this race. Man. But we saw it, though, Mike. The race is not over for that 42 just yet. We saw him take a hard impact on that first on-track caution. We saw him climb through the field once. So if there's ever a driver that I could see climbing through the field, I know I said it was Matthew Badby before, but if there's ever a driver, we just saw him do it in that 42. So who's to say he can't do it again, Mike?
Most definitely. And then we also talked about going to Daytona. And I believe... will we have an event coming up at Daytona involving these guys?
Yes, sir. I believe so. We do. This series, the High Octane Sim Series, is running a money race, Mike. Big money. Shout out to Cardi B. They're running big money moves here in the High Octane Sim Series. If you want more information on that, it's going to be Thursday night, May the 12th. They are running a fixed setup in that race at Daytona Speedway. There we go. That's that beautiful flyer that was created there. Fixed setups running around 7 p.m. Thursday night. $20 entry there, but cash prizes, Mike. Doesn't get any better when you can race for cash.
Definitely, and I will be entered in. I believe I'm going to have maybe one or two teammates of mine entering. Definitely gonna make sure we put on a good show for you guys. Also working on a couple sponsors for that event. I know that we'll be bringing you live action, and they are using the next gen cars, which is the newest babies, I should say.
Yes, sir. I can't wait to see. Maybe we'll throw you in a 10-4 broadcasting car, Mike, if we can get that paint scheme all wrapped up. That way you can represent on the track. But nonetheless, Mike, we are excited and pumped up for that action. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We see that pace car pull off there. If you want more information on that event, definitely head over to High Octane Sim Series on Facebook. We see Matthew Badby's taking the green flag here in stage number 3 at Texas Motor Speedway. This is race number 1 of the playoffs.
Matthew as your race leader, followed by 624 of Riley Hoots, and look who's coming back to the lead. That's a 54, Parker Collins. 4 fresh tires.
Gosh, and we're seeing a lot of speed out of those freshies, as I like to say. It's almost like putting on a fresh pair of sneakers. They're not beat up, they're not worn out, they're nice and fresh. You see they're really giving Parker Collins a nice grip on that inside lane there, Mike. And for the folks at home that are unfamiliar with this track, you're not seeing a lot of drivers run that high side lane or really creep up high at all in the corners. Is there something about the high side that the drivers just don't like here at Texas?
Not really. The high side, if you think about it, it's more for like, I'm going to say IndyCar because they're traveling at a high rate of speed. You know, these stock cars, maybe in a couple of years when there's more track wear, more grip, longevity of the track surface, you could see people start running the high side. But with this surface still new, definitely I do not see them running the high side.
No, and you see them starting to tandem up a little bit, but you see Parker Collins in that 54 kind of ease out of line to get down to the inside as Matthew Beppe went high. And what that's going to enable is the 23 of Alex Tallman to really link up with his teammate there. Pull away. That looks like the 89 is stuck out on Revis Island there with no help. As you see that tandem starting to build on that inside lane there, is really going to leave the 89 out to dry, but here comes Kevin Bullock in that 01. Trying to link up behind Matthew in that 89, but he's going to have a lot of traffic in front of him as you see Riley Hoots trying to take over Matthew Badby for that 3rd position. Taking an onboard ride here with Ryan Lewis. And now you see the 89 creep back down to the inside lane there, starting to realize that he has to file back in to keep pace. Just doesn't want to lose any more position, because as you saw during those green flag runs there, if the cars can start tanding him up and start to pull away, the rest of the drivers behind them just have to watch that back bumper fade away like a mirage. It's almost like, I like to say, you know, it's almost reminiscent of Wilson on Castaway, where Tom Hanks' character, he loses the volleyball and you start seeing the volleyball drift further and further and further away, and he's yelling, "Wilson! Wilson!" And that's what starts to happen once these cars start to tandem up like that. If you're in 3rd, 4th, or outside of that tandem, you start seeing those cars just pull away, pull away, pull away, and there's really nothing you can do, Mike.
You know, one thing that I wanted to point out is, you know, we talk about the tandem. This track is not much of a tandem racetrack just yet. This is more of like, you know, hit your marks and getting that speed. Yeah, the draft works a little bit, but it's not working like Atlanta or Daytona or Talladega type racetrack. It's just fast. The 3 and 4 technically is flat out, at least in the next gen cars. As we see a hard battle for 2nd place. Riley Hoots and 23 of Alex. Speaking of Alex, the 23 and the 54, they've been, you know, 1 and 2 most of this race. You know, we've seen, you know, the 89 and the 24. They started at 1 and 3, and they're right now running 3 and 4. But here's another thing, a chain of events that can happen. First 3 of Parker, Alex, and Riley all have already used their 2nd set. 89 of Matthew 01 of Kevin and Brian and Alan Bledsoe has already used the third set of tires.
Out of Parker Collins there. You see his teammate Alex Tallman is trying to follow Riley Hootson on the outside. And we did, for those viewers that are watching on YouTube, we did run a poll in the chat to see who you folks at home think's going to win tonight's event. And it was a split, Mike, between Parker Collins and Matthew Badby. So the top two drivers in the regular season, the drivers the folks at home are picking to win this event. So did get YouTube up and running again once again. So if you want to jump back over there, if you're watching on Facebook, but what an action-packed race it has been so far here at Texas, Mike. Things are always bigger in Texas, and the stakes couldn't be bigger here in playoff race number 1 of 4. You see a battle for the lead ensuing between the big dog racing teammates. What that's going to enable is Parker Collins get left out there on that high side. As you see, Riley Hoot's going to make a move on the inside. Nope, going to follow right back in there. Looks like Parker loses some speed on entry, but then on exit really gathers that speed back up, Mike.
Most definitely, we're going to go on board with Parker. Full on board as we're sitting in the driver's seat here.
As you see, during the corner, drops that thing down to about the low 150s. These onboard cameras are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. And you see him kind of coast down into the corner, really lose some speed there. Not a lot of speed lost on that corner there, Mike.
No, 3 and 4, you're mostly full throttle. 1 and 2 is where you're a little saving that tire, but 3 and 4, you are full throttle. Ooh, as we almost touched the bumper there.
And you saw he had a lot of speed garnered up from the exit onto 4. Really had to drop that thing down into 1 and 2. See if he's going to have enough speed here to get around Alex. Or maybe they'll just play a little cat and mouse game between the teammates to make sure they stay 1-2 on the track. You want to keep, there we go, Riley Hoots is just trying to get around those cars in front of him. You see, they're trying to keep the Riley Hoots in that 24, Matthew Badby in that 89. As you can see just in the corner of your screen, folks, that 89 of Matthew Badby is right on the back bumper of Riley Hoots in that 24. Really trying to get around there. And if I was racing on the simulator myself, I would have one eye up on that rear view mirror and one eye on the track, because we know that 89 is going to try to make a play for position. But Mike, one thing I do want a spot on the track here for the folks at home. It looks like the 42 of Alan Bledsoe, even after having to take a tow, being involved in an accident, running out of gas after the end of that stage, has climbed his way back up into the top 5, folks. And I believe, Mike, he may have had some W energy to get that thing rocking and rolling up into that front pack there. And W Energy has now exclusively partnered with the High Octane Sim Series. It was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including their patented Neurofactor. If you are a gamer, sim racer, or just need a little extra energy to get you through the day, check out W Energy. W will get you through your day without giving you extra jitters or restlessness. To order, go to www.gg and use coupon code H.O.S.S at checkout. What an awesome new sponsor to have here in the High Octane Sim Series. I might order some of that myself there. No more having to drink those energy drinks or those overpriced Starbucks coffees before these broadcasts here, Mike. I'm definitely going to go check out some W Energy. That's wdubby.gg. And again, use coupon code H.O.S.S at checkout for this awesome discount they are offering for the folks at home. Go check them out. That is Jitterless Energy Blend right there, Mike. What an awesome new sponsor to have on board.
Most definitely. Guess what? Dragonade. Oh, whose name would that be? Dragonade. Look at this. As we have a dragon. That 42 Dragon. In sports cars, you always, in the past, it was at the 24 Hours of Daytona, you always talked about the 99 Red Dragon. Well, we do have a Dragon. That's a 42. He's coming back to the lead.
He is large and charging in that 42 machine. He's got his eye set on Matthew Badby in that 89. But Mike, the way this race is playing out so far, it might be a totally different movie, if you will, than what we saw in the regular season. So we got Alex Tallman leading the way in that 23. Now, Alex was one of those drivers that did get an automatic qualifier into these playoffs from picking up a victory. But his teammate Parker Collins, again, that's one of the guys we got to know a lot during the season with 3 wins. But you see Riley Hoots in that 24. Matthew Badby is having a battle for position in 4th place. So it could be a really different story at the end of this race, depending on who wins.
For sure, hard battle right here. For 5th place,
man,
it's the 01 and the 42, side by side. Into 1 and 2, we've seen them almost touch 3 and 4. 42 doesn't have a little disadvantage for in that high side.
Oh gosh, that's...
01 definitely has a run.
Whoa, no!
Backed off.
But you saw the 01 have to come back into line so fast. He didn't know the 31 was there. We almost saw another caution on the track there. We see Kevin Bullock there racing out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, so a little bit of Rocky Top action there. He's 49 years old, loves sim racing, so big ups to Kevin here. And Kevin had I'd say a pretty decent regular season, just didn't qualify for these playoffs here per se, but did run his races during the regular season, Mike, and man, he has run a really strong race here in playoff race number 1. He raced up for the lead there for a couple of laps, but trying to make his way back up into the top 5. But what a way to show out here in playoff race number 1, as it looks like we have a battle for the lead. As we say, a battle for the lead, it looks like teammates are just going to swap positions on the track between Alex Tallman and Parker Collins there. You see Riley Hoots is going to go to the inside to overtake Alex Tallman in that 23. It looks like Matthew Badby is going to follow in that 89 as they dig down into the corner of 1. And you see, it looks like Riley Hoots has got his eyes set on overtaking that lead, maybe work with Matthew Badby in that 89 just a little bit as they head down the backstretch. So Parker Collins leading the way in that 54. Riley Hoots is in 2nd place. Matthew Badby in 3rd. Alex Tallman in 4th. And Kevin Bullock rounds out your top 5. We see a little bit of trouble out of Ryan Lewis in that 20. It's faded off the pace. Nick Alford in that 22. The admin here at the H.O.S.S Racing League here has faded off just a little bit as well. You see Kelly Thomas in that 51. Nick Shell, who is just outside the playoff race but did make it in, is going to be our last driver on the track here in that number 8 machine. Not running the race that he was imagining here tonight, Mike, but you see a battle for the lead ensuing between Parker Collins and Riley Hoots. Going around 4, heading to the start-finish line here on lap 109 here in the High Octane Sim Series. This is race number 1 of the playoffs, live here on 10-4 Broadcasting. And you see, Mike, they are running side by side.
This is hard racing for the race lead as we are 109 laps in.
You see Parker still trying to get up there, but it looks like Matthew Badby is going to choose Riley Hoots as the guy he wants to work with, as you see him not wanting to stick his front bumper behind Parker. He's choosing to put it behind Riley Hoots there. It's going to give him just a little bit of an advantage there as Riley Hoots just interchanges between Parker Collins and Riley Hoots on that grid for who's in the lead position. It looks like it's going to take Alex Tallman to get back up there with his teammate. Oh, man! Big move out of Riley Hoots there. He's going to try to use that shake and bake action there, try to overtake, but Parker Collins is still going to hold the speed going around 4. Riley Hoots is on the inside, still trying to find a way around Parker in that 54, but he does not want to give up position, folks. And this is the reason why Parker has 3 wins on the season. It is skillful iRacing like this. You see they are still side by side, Mike. Neither one wants to give up this battle for the lead.
This is an intense battle. You see a battle there in the back with the 01 and 42.
You see Matthew Badby has seemingly picked the partner he wants to work with, and with that little bit of drafting he's doing behind the 24 of Riley Hoots, it's just poking that nose out just a little bit. But you see Parker's got that speed on the corners, and you'll see that 89 of Matthew Badby. Oh, they may have touched just a little bit there. Oh man, that's super close, Mike.
That's what you want, some side-by-side action, hard side-by-side action here in Texas. Race number 1 in the playoffs. High octanes. So, oh, they got touched, contact.
Oh no!
Wow.
Man, this is crazy, Mike. Neither one of them wants to give up the battle for the lead. They are racing side by side. They have now for about 3 or 4 laps, side by side action, drag racing down the track here. And they just touched. Oh man, you see Parker get loose on that touch. If we were racing modifieds, Mike, they both would have spun out there. Man.
And that's something you do not want from Parker, running that outside line for too long. He's definitely going to be feeling a different type of grip up there. The car's definitely getting tighter as you see him getting a little bit, trying to pinch that 24 down, try to free up his car just a tad bit.
Man, they are still side by side, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a freeze on your screen. They are still side by side here in lap 115. I believe they have been side by side now for the last 4 laps or so, and neither one of them wants to give up position on the track. And Mike, in my eyes, I am just floored by this action here, and I am surprised by the speed that Parker's able to hold in that 54 with no draft partner behind him per se. I think he's using the side-by-side draft, and there we go, and Parker's going to go ahead and overtake as they go back to single file racing here, Mike. Wow, what an action-packed 5 laps there.
Definitely was an intense battle between the 54 Parker and the 24 as we have our caution.
We'll have to rev up that 10-4 broadcast and replay for you folks at home to see what brought out our second on-track caution of the race here. As we're keeping an eye out on those leaders to see what... Oh man, it was the 20 again coming hot into the corner. Unfortunate clip.
That was not the 20 actually.
No.
That was the 23.
Oh man, I am surprised that Alex was running that far back.
On board here with the 23.
Oh.
One more time.
Man, you see him just come really hot into the corner there.
I believe the 31 slowed up just a tad bit with the 23 being hot on entry.
And you saw it with another car out of this Big Dog Racing stable there, that Ryle Lewis came into the corner really hot again. So maybe those drivers out of that stable are just used to running these corners hot, getting around the track. As you see Parker Collins in that 54 is up there in the lead out of that stable. Man, Mike, what a crazy 5 laps that was.
Definitely hard, intense battles. We see drivers coming down pit road for a set of tires. I believe a few will be down to one more set after this. I think Ryan Lewis does have one more set available. Other than that, everybody else should be on one more set, except for a few people still be on 2 more sets of tires. So if we have a couple more cautions, this definitely will change the landscape of this race.
Yeah, Mike, and we're almost just about 60 laps to go here, Mike, and, you know, action-packed racing like this, you know what it does to me, Mike?
Hungry for some food.
It makes me extremely hungry for some Captain Jack's Smokehouse Barbecue out of Amelia Island there, as you take a look at this wonderful plate of food you see on your screen here. You've got 3 different choices of sauces there up in the corner. You got a nice ice cold beer there if you are over 21 years of age. But man, Mike, I wish to find a barbecue spot down here in Florida that has barbecue that looks this good. Literally make my mouth water as I'm looking at the picture. Doesn't get any better than this. You get all the fixings, all the sides, everything that you might need for the barbecue feast to take place at Captain Jack's Smokehouse. But go check them out on Facebook. Go check them out on Google. If you're close enough, go see if they have DoorDash, or just jump over there to pick you up some awesome mouth-watering barbecue that you see on the screen here. That is Captain Jack's Smokehouse out of Amelia Island. Go check them out, man, because Mike, you tease me every time you throw this picture up on the screen here. It makes me so hungry.
Oh man, I can't wait to jump into my food. You know, this is, oh man. I wish they would deliver to different states. I would definitely order for sure.
Yeah, it just looks amazing, Mike. I can't wait to. If I get anywhere near Amelia Island, I'm definitely gonna order me some Captain Jack Smokehouse, because like I said, I can't find barbecue like that anywhere down here in Florida. So, man, we just had the little skimpy pulled pork sandwiches down here, and man, what a tray of food that was. Go check them out, Captain Jack Smokehouse there, Mike. But with less than 60 laps to go here in playoff race number 1 of the High Octane Sim Series, who do you have an eye on to win this race here, Mike? It's actually just an open, I'd say it's an open competition. Who's going to take home the victory? We've seen so many lead changes here already. We saw Parker Collins and Riley Hoots go side by side for about 4 or 5 laps there. Who do you have your eye on in picking up this victory? As you see, Alan Bledsoe has climbed his way back up into the top 5 as well.
Well, I don't want to jinx anybody, so I'm not going to really give a pick, because every time we both pick and they end up in the wall or out of the race. So I'm going to keep my lips shut for now. I want to see a good battle to the finish. Who knows? I want to see a three-way finish, as in, if you remember in IndyCar in Michigan, a couple years back, it was Sam Hornish that had just by a hair. I want to see that type of finish here tonight.
Man, Mike, it's been so long with the IndyCar series. I turned it on over the weekend. I don't think I recognized but like 5 or 6 names still in that field. It's a lot of new names. Jimmy Johnson's in there as well. A lot of different drivers in that. But Mike, if I had the little extra cash, I'd head down to Miami this weekend, as the F1 is going to take on the Miami Grand Prix. The first race is going to be down there in Miami, and what an event they're playing. There's going to be all sorts of DJs that are playing. Post Malone's going to be playing. It's going to be a crazy weekend down in Miami for the Formula One Grand Prix down there. But back to the action here in the High Octane Sim Series, Mike. For me, I would keep an eye on that 42. That 42 has really shown drive and fight in tonight's race. Has battled through adversity, has hit the wall, has ran out of gas, has got a tow, missed a pit stall. So if there's anybody that has that racing spirit, that racing go-ahead, if you will, it's at 42. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's green, green, green for the last 60 laps here in the High Octane Sim Series.
As we see our race leader in the 54, Parker Collins, get a blistering start.
That was a big jump out of that 54. You see Matthew Bedby go to the outside, going down into 3. He's really starting to get aggressive behind that wheel. You see Riley Hoots is trying to get around Matthew Bedby as well. They are not letting things simmer down at all. The action is getting right back to where it left off before that caution. Oh, man, that was a big move out of that 24 to throw the block on the 89. Man, everybody wants to pick up the race victory here tonight, Mike. See Parker Collins with all that action behind him is starting to pull away just a little bit on second place. It's going to play right into the hands of that big dog racing machine. Now Parker Collins in that 54 still leading the race here, heading down into the backstretch. It's the front stretch here as you see Parker Collins still leading the way on lap 123 here, ladies and gentlemen. Still battling those 2 cars behind him, Mike, but you see Alan Bledsoe is trying to feed his way around Matthew Bedby in that 89. I feel like if he can get around that 89, he's really got a shot at tonight's race.
And I want to apologize to this race. A couple of people blinked a little bit, but it is the weather. I know the Northeast is getting hammered with storms, tornado warnings. So we just hope everybody is safe. I would say turn on. Hopefully, you guys are tuning into this broadcast. If not, let's just hope to tune in next week for round 2 as we go to Daytona.
Yes, sir. We want to wish them all the best and be safe in these inclement weather situations we have going on. As you see, the field is down a few drivers in tonight's event, but that doesn't mean it's any less exciting here at Texas. As you see, Alan Bledsoe in that 42 has climbed his way back up into second position. He is definitely trying to win tonight's event to try to solidify his shot at the championship. He's already picked up a stage victory here tonight. As you see, Parker Collins at 54 is going to try to overtake on the backstretch, going down into 3. Going to take that low side. As you see, the 24 has got a little bit of flicker in there, but it's all good in the hood. As you see, he's still leading the way in that 24 machine. Parker Collins and Alan Bledsoe are now side by side, but you see the 89's trying to creep up on that battle. As you see, they are side by side here, Mike.
And your pick of the 42, I wanted to pick a couple, but I don't want to, open the can of worms and give them the broadcast curse, so to say.
With all the adversity that Alan has faced in that 42 here, I don't think anything can get in his way here tonight. He really wants to pick up this huge win at Texas. As you saw, he hit the wall pretty hard to bring it out on our first on-track caution. Battled his way back up to win stage 2. Ran out of gas at the end of the stage, as we saw. Overshot his pit box, Mike. Had to take a tow, so had to sit on pit road for a few minutes. Had to start at the tail end of the pack because of that. Has climbed his way all the way back up in the second position. Is now trying to inch his nose around the 24 of Riley Hoots to overtake for the lead. So if there's ever a driver that has worked his tail off to try to pick up a victory here tonight, it's definitely the 42 of Alan Bledsoe. As you see, they are now side by side on the backstretch. You see Parker Collins is trying to go on there as well, but they are side by side, folks. Around 4, Alan Bledsoe and Riley Hoots now battling for the lead side by side, heading down into the front stretch. You see Parker Collins just trying to take advantage of that, going to the high side. You see Alan's going to have to try to inch up just a little bit.
Side by side action for second place. Alan Bledsoe will soon be, put his hat in the book for this race. We've seen the 54 and the 23, be a factor in this race. 89, and now the leader Riley Hoots. But the 42, definitely my pick as well for this evening. But I just didn't want to, give him the curse. But I don't know. I still have a dark horse, but I'm just not going to say it just yet.
Yeah, Mike, and talk about dark horses. The 22 of Nick Alford has climbed his way into the top 5 as well. Nick was running the tail end of the pack the majority of tonight's event, but has now climbed that machine into the top 5. So Nick Alford is the admin here at the High Octane Sim Series. He's the mastermind behind all the action you see on the track. They run 2 series here in the High Octane Sim Series. They run an Xfinity Series and a Cup Series. So, man, what a way to start off the playoff chase to see the admin put his car into victory lane. He is trying everything he can in that 22 to get around the 89 of Matthew Badby, as it's still Riley Hoots leading the way here. Round 4 heading down into the front stretch. See Parker Collins at 54, Alan Bledsoe on that 42 that we were just talking about. If there's ever a hard charger award, or I'd say the MVP of the race, I think I'm going to give it to Alan Bledsoe on that 42. Even if he doesn't win tonight's race, I am just impressed by the masterclass we've seen out of him to fight through all the adversity, Mike. If I was having that type of race, I probably would have shut it off, or shut the simulator off, and probably would have done something else. I would have parked the thing for next week. But Alan did not give up in tonight's event. He is still racing his tail off to try to get tonight's victory with a stage victory. We take a look at the rest of the field there. After Nick Alford in that 5th position, you got Alex Tallman, who's surprisingly down in the 6th position. Really started off hot in tonight's event, Mike, but it's faded just a little bit towards the end.
Yes, we see him get a little contact late in the run with the 01 to be exact.
You see Kelly Thomas is down there as well. Kevin Bullock is in 8th place. We saw him battling for the lead as well, Mike. It's really not shaping up to be his type of race here tonight. Started to fade off the pace just a little bit. A lot of things can change in tonight's event, but being that far back in the pack, you really need something to happen to have a opportunity at the race victory. After that, you see Nick Schell in that number 8 car in the 9th position. Made it into the playoffs on points. Not the race that he really wanted to run here tonight at Texas either. And then Mike, surprisingly, the Ryan Lewis of that 20 machine, after that early contact he had that brought out the caution, he has faded down to the 10th position. That's going to round out the cars on the track, as we had 2 cars that parked it and are heading to Daytona already on those trailers. And that's going to round out the top 10 here at Texas, ladies and gentlemen. But it's still Riley Hoots here leading the way on lap 135. Creeping up on the last 40 laps here. I think we're going to really start seeing these strategies be implemented as far as making sure you have your draft partners, making sure you have the right set of tires. As you were talking about, a few drivers have already used those sets. And one of those drivers I believe that you mentioned was Alan Bledsoe on that 42.
Yes, he's got 1 set of tires left.
It's
so
going to be...
if we have a late caution, it's going to be a factor of what do you do?
Yeah, it's going to be quite the finish here with less than 40 laps to go here in playoff race number 1 of the High Octane Sim Series. As you see, Riley Hoots is still leading the way here, going to cross the line at lap 138. Parker Collins in that 54 and Alan Bledsoe in that 42 right behind the 54. But you see a big run out of the 54 on the entry of the corner. Has to check up just a little bit there. And Mike, I believe I know what's behind that 42, a reason why he's found so much speed here on the track. And I believe that is the result of W Energy. Now, W Energy is excited to announce that they have partnered with the Race Go Crazy. I might go check out some of this W Energy here to make sure it's jitterless. Race Go Crazy. I might go check out some of this W Energy here to make sure it's jitterless. It's not going to cause me to get the shakes or cause my blood pressure to go up, any of that craziness. Go check them H.O.S.S at checkout. Again, that's www.dubby.gg and use coupon code H.O.S.S at checkout to get your awesome discount. They are a brand new sponsor here in the High Octane Sim Series, so go give them some love. You can find them on Facebook and also dubby.gg. Mike, and what a cool sponsor to have on board here in the High Octane Sim Series.
Definitely. I was going to say, right there in the front, you got Dragon 8, and we do have a Dragon. I'm calling that 42 the Dragon, as I believe we have people heading down the pit lane. Ryan Lewis has already entered the pits, as I believe we're hearing from drivers down on pit road. They'll be pitting here very shortly.
It's time to get those last fuel strategies start implementing here. As you see, that's the 23 of Alex Tallman's down pit road here. Alex ran a really good race to start off tonight's event, but as Mike mentioned, had some contact there that sent him to the back of the pack. Has really struggled since then. As you're starting to see some of the leaders head down pit road. Oh no!
24, that's definitely going to be a drive-through penalty.
Oh my goodness. Now, I'm not sure who was in the wrong there, Mike, because you saw the 24 start heading down pit road. You saw the 54 have to check up and actually made contact with the 24 just as they were entering pit road. Maybe that slight contact sent the 24 into that cone.
Yes, there was contact. As my stats
Man.
are reporting that.
Wow, what a change of events there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how all this shakes out once these green flag pit stops are concluded. But on the track here, we still have Alan Bledsoe leading the way in that 42. Probably going to run some hot laps here, Mike, and then head down pit road himself, just so that he can keep pace with the rest of the field. But man, I am interested to see what shakes out after these green flag pit stops, Mike. Because that was craziness on pit road, as we saw there, the contact between the 24 and 54 of Parker Collins. And right now, we're creeping up with less than 30 laps to go. Anything can really happen here towards the end of the race here. Anything is possible there. Shout out to Kevin Garnett. You see the 42 still running around the track here, Mike, and that's interesting to see. You would think he would want to get down to pit road as soon as possible to make sure he keeps pace with his leaders. See Alan Bledsoe in that 42 still leading the way here, folks. He has yet to head down pit road. It's going to be the last set of green flag pit stops that we might see in tonight's event here. Still rocking around in that 42, Mike.
Yes, we see, in that incident on pit road between the 54 and the 24. That's big turn in events. These drivers that are out still now, the 42 of Allen and 01 of Kevin Burlock, both of them have already been down pit road 4 times. So they come down pit road. They're trying to extend their tire usage. That way their tires can come back and try to pass for the win. That's one thing. If you pit too many times, you use those set of tires, it's a gamble. So now we got a gamble race. First person lap down I'm reading is the 54 is Parker Collins. Parker Collins, let's see, he was running his last lap. See if we can pull that on the screen for you guys. Let's see the time difference between fresh set and used set. That's still running. Parker Collins, 30.88. While Allen, still on the same set of tires, 31.96. You see Parker Collins in the back there. He's catching fast.
Yeah, Mike, you see that, but the way that Allen's running around the track here, yet to head down pit road, he's lapping the field. If we could switch that grid back there, we have a lot of cars already a lap down here because of this. Practically the field there, Mike. The only car that's not a lap down so far is Kevin Bullock in that 01 machine, which you see looks like Parker Collins has come into your point of view here, trying to overtake to get that lap back the hard way. But man, Mike, what a change of events we are seeing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Less than 30 laps to go. You see Parker's going to try to overtake to take that lead back from Alan Bledsoe in that 42, and he just does just that. He is the first car now back on the lead lap there after Allen stayed out and decided to lap everybody in the field. Man, Mike, about how long do you think Allen has, not only on the fuel window, but on the tire? Oh, there we go. That is it right there, Mike.
And I believe this is a money stop for him, for sure. We've seen him stay out as long as possible. But now, guess what? That's going to be, 4-5 laps, fresher tires for Allen. He's hoping this stays green and goes to the end.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a big advantage for him. As you see, it looks like once everything shakes out here, Parker Collins is going to go ahead and pass Alan Bledsoe on pit road. Now you see Parker Collins in that 54 is now your race leader once again here at Texas here in the High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 1. Less than, looking at 28 laps to go here, folks. We'll see exactly what pans out here towards the end. You see Parker still hitting that inside lane there, but as Mike was mentioning, even though Alan did stay out there, he is going to have a set of freshies when things get going back on these green flag runs. So Matthew Bedby in that 89. Look at Alex Tallman, Mike, has really worked his way back up there. He was struggling just a little bit there in the middle stages of this race, but he's got that 23 machine in third position.
Yes, the 23 was 23 and the 54. They two were the leaders of this race early on, and we've seen that. We talked about it. 23 had a little incident, maybe a slight incident in my book, late in the race, but we're coming down to the wire here, so I wonder how aggressive the 23 is going to be.
We shall see, Mike, as you see the 23 and the 89 are really battling it out here. And after that, it does drop down to about a 9-second lead between third place and fourth place. So, man, it is, they're starting to add up the time there, as you can start to see. Just on the exit of 4 there is going to be Kelly Thomas in that 57. So quite a ways away from the second and third cars here. But Mike, as these cars are battling out behind the leader, as we take a look at the 51 of Kelly Thomas there. Now Kelly has also done a great job of climbing back through tonight's field. This car inside the top 5. He's got an awesome draft partner to work with, and Nick Alford right behind him as well. But what a great way to get that car up into the top 5 with pit strategies and working your way up through the field. But it looks like Nick wants to overtake for that position, as he's going to go to the outside here to cross the line here with less than 25 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. The High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 1. And there's the Red Dragon himself, Alan Bledsoe, in that 42 with that set of freshies. He's going to have to try to close that gap right now. It looks like it's about a 9-second gap between him and the leaders, Mike. Do you think he can do it?
I believe he can, and here's why. We're going to check out the last lap from the leader and Alan here.
Oof.
30.39 to a 31.42.
Oh my goodness.
He's going to come. He's coming fast. He wants this race to stay green. If a caution comes out, then I believe the 54 Parker has this win.
Oh my goodness, what a difference in speeds there, Mike. That is about almost a second and a half of lap time difference there. He is trying to fight his way up there, no doubt, but he's going to have to close that gap with only less than 23 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a look at Alan Bledsoe, the so-called Red Dragon of tonight's event. Man, Mike, like I said, if there's ever an MVP award, even if he doesn't pick up the victory, I have to give it to that 42 machine just for fighting through all the adversity he's faced in tonight's event. It looks like Parker Collins has now extended that lead between him and Matthew Bedby to almost 2 seconds, Mike. So really starting to pull away from that 89 there, but keep an eye on this 42 to try to close that gap as well.
Yes, you see the 42 gaining almost a full second a lap. And that's dangerous. We've seen Justin 1 and 2. He entered at 8:14, and he's already almost a full second faster. You see that time on the right, slowly going down, but going down fast.
And maybe, Mike, we could take an onboard look at maybe the back fender of Alex Tallman to see if we could see that 42 in his sights just yet. See when they hit that straightaway, if he can start to see that 42 creeping into his vision just yet. There he is, just a little bit. You see that speck right outside the point of view there. He is definitely coming there. As you see, they're going to head to this backstretch here. We're taking an onboard look of Alex Tallman here in that 23 machine. He is in third position, but we're keeping an eye on Alan Bledsoe in that 42, Mike. And here he comes down the backstretch. He's getting closer and closer every single lap, Mike.
Yes, look at that time. That is the time delta between Alan and the 23 of Alex. Look at that, closing fast.
Now, Mike, my question to you is, once he does get up there, he might have the speed to get around these cars, but if any of these cars tend to fight him off as he's trying to overtake for position, and those precious laps keep ticking down, do you think he's going to have enough time to get up there to the leaders?
I believe he'll have enough time, but like I said a little bit ago, is that the tires. We see him using his tires, flying through this field. Parker, he could be saving and conserving tires. So he'll have the tires hopefully at the end. But Alan is saying to himself, no caution, no caution. Go all the way to the end green. And Parker's like, oh, I want a caution. One more set of tires, and then I'm gone.
Yes, sir. And Parker Collins and Matthew Badby, who are 1-2 here on the track, finished 1-2 in the regular season. We saw Matthew Badby get 5 wins on the season. But it was an awesome end of the regular season for Parker Collins, who went back-to-back like Drake. But towards that, in that regular season championship, Matthew Badby sealed up that regular season championship by picking up his 5th win of the season. But man, we'll keep an eye on those two as we're still taking an onboard ride here. As you see Matthew Badby in that 89.
Your race leader, Parker Collins, in that 54. Now, one thing I'm going to look at, we're going to check from his board viewer camera here. Do we see him? Yes, he is. Look back there. That 42, he's coming.
He is definitely coming there, as we have some fans in the chat. Matthew Wilson, who looks like he parked his car to head to Daytona. He's jumped in the trap as he is on his trailer heading to Daytona. Said, let's go, Young Money. So shout out to Young Money there, whichever driver goes by that awesome nickname here in tonight's event. As Mike said, you start to see that red dragon that is the 42 start to creep up into the point of view there. And Mike, these drivers here, they have to start to recognize, as Alan has overtaken for 3rd place now, that 42 is coming. They have to start recognizing that, whether they're listening to our broadcast here or whether they're watching the rear view cameras, they have to know that 42 is definitely on their tail.
Definitely, for sure. Parker could be, conserving tires, trying to save, but Alan is like, I used my last set, I'm going. I got nothing to lose now. It's win or win without the wheel.
Yes, sir. And Young Money is Matthew Badby in that 89. I did not know that his is his nickname, but that is an awesome nickname for you folks at home watching. But Matthew has got to use some of that little wheezy action to keep off the 42 of Alan Bledsoe in that 42, because he's going to have a red dragon coming up to him here pretty soon here in the next couple of laps. And if Matthew wants any shot of tonight's victory, he's going to have to hold off the large charging of that 42. As you see in your vision there, he is closing that gap each lap. It is now down to about 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds if you round up there. Donate a penny for a cause. As you see Alan Bledsoe in that 42 is up there, keeping a close eye on this 42, ladies and gentlemen, because this 42 has seemingly closed the gap lap by lap, and we threw out those lap times up on the grid for you folks at home, and he's running about a second faster every single lap. So less than 11 laps to go here in race number 1 of the playoffs in the High Octane Sim Series. This is going to be quite a battle here towards the finish line.
Yes, we see lap time using those tires. And I think he's trying to let those tires cool off just a tad bit, as you see him not being so aggressive like he was before.
Now, Mike, in this instance, as you see the lap times are starting to even out a little bit, do you kind of hope now in that 42 you get a caution? That way that gap closes and you have more of an opportunity to make a play at the lead, or you still want to run these green flag runs?
For the 42, you want to go green all the way. If there's a caution, people are coming down for tires. And with Alan, he doesn't have a set. So he'd be just going down for fuel. Yes, it would help. but again, it's those tires. You need the tires for the grip. You're just basically a sitting duck.
And you don't want to be a sitting duck, but as they say, a sitting duck on a pond is very fast under the water. We've seen that speed out of the 42 here as we take a look at Parker Collins in that 54. Mike, he's creeping up on Riley Hoots, who we saw get bumped by that 54 on pit road just a little while ago, has now dropped down to the tail end of that lead pack. And you see Parker's going to try to put a lap car in between him and Matthew Badby. This gives him a little love tap as he goes by there on the entry of 1. You're going to go side by side going down into the backstretch. And what that might cause, Mike, is if Riley doesn't let him overtake, it's really going to close that gap between him and Matthew Badby, because he's going to have to fight that side-by-side draft. As you see Matthew Badby just out of your point of view there. As you hope that the 24 doesn't want to enact a little bit of revenge there from that pit road incident just a little while ago, folks. You see the 54 is now overtaking the 24 there to make him 2 laps down here in tonight's event. That's quite a disappointment in that 24, who actually was racing for the lead for the majority of this race, Mike.
Definitely an incident on pit road can definitely factor in the race. Basically a championship.
Yes, sir, indeed. As you see, Parker Collins now going to cross the line here with less than 6 laps to go here at Texas. This is race number 1 of the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series, and Parker really hasn't faltered at all in tonight's event. He's been racing in the top 3 majority of tonight's event. Did get into a little bit of a pit road incident with the 24 of Riley Hoots just a little while ago. But it looks like it's not going to slow him down at all. As you see, that 24 is now in the way of the 89. But look at the Red Dragon himself in that 42, Mike. We're going to have less than 5 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning into tonight's action. If you are liking what you are seeing here at 10-4 Broadcasting, go check us out on Facebook at 10-4 Broadcasting. Also, go search us out on YouTube as well, 10-4 Broadcasting on there. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, that little bell as well to get notified for whenever we go live. We're bringing you iRacing action now. We're looking at Tuesday through Sunday on YouTube as well. We also have some double headers coming up on Thursdays and Fridays. So if you love iRacing, love all sorts of racing, go check us out on 10-4 Broadcasting. But back to the race action here, Mike. Still Parker Collins leading the way, but you see that 89 is now creeping into vision, and you see Riley Hoots now is in the way of that 42 of Alan Bledsoe.
Definitely. I think Alan, he burnt his tires up, chasing hard. You
But
see
he's
that time not close enough. It's getting bigger.
Yes, sir. But throw up those 3s and rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt as we have less than 3 laps to go here at Texas, ladies and gentlemen. Parker Collins is trying to seal the deal, but it looks like that 89 might have something to say about it as they are just heading down into 3, around 4 here. It is Parker Collins and that 54 and Matthew Badby in that 89. It's really a 2-car race now to the finish. As Parker Collins going to cross the line with some 2 laps to go here. Mike heading down into 1.
2 laps to go in the round 1 of the playoffs here at the High Octane Sim Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. Will Parker Collins take home the victory, or will the 89 of Matthew, or even the 42 of Alan factor in? Here we go, off of turn 4. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go.
Yes, sir. As you see, Parker Collins going to dip down to the inside lane there, down into 1. Heading around 2 right now, folks. Heading down into the backstretch. You see Matthew Badby in the 89 is trying to close that gap, heading down to the backstretch here. See Parker Collins in the 54. Matthew Badby in the 89. We're taking an onboard ride with Matthew Badby in the 89 to see if he has anything to say here on this last corner, going around 3 and 4. Parker Collins in that 54 still leading the way around here on the exit of 4. We'll see who's going to take home the race victory here tonight. It's going to be Parker Collins in that 54. with Matthew Badby in that 89 is going to finish right on that side corner panel there. Wow, what a way to start off the playoffs here in the High Octane Sim Series. It is Parker Collins in that 54, picking up a huge win here, Mike.
Parker Collins, who she had a little incident on pit road late in the run, but ended up being a factor in this race. As he's celebrating on pit road, looks like 24 Riley is not a fan of him right now, but
not a fan at all, Mike, but you have to be a fan of the way that he was able to win this race here tonight. Never really faltered out of the top 3. Stayed up there the entire race. You did see that little incident with Riley Hoots on pit road, but it's all racing here in the high series, and we saw it during the regular season, Mike. We saw him really come on strong here towards the end. Had a shot at the regular season championship, but of course Matthew Badby won that regular season finale there to seal the deal. But Parker was definitely a name I was keeping an eye out for here. As you see, the Big Dog Racing team is now celebrating. As you take a look at that grid there, they got Parker Collins finishing P1, Alex Tallman finishing P4, and then you see Riley Lewis ran a pretty good race there. Is finishing in P9 here. As we take a look at the official race results here, Mike. As you see Parker Collins celebrating there. Matthew Badby is going to finish just outside that race victory here tonight. Keep an eye out for those two going the rest of the playoffs here, Mike. Alan Bledsoe, man, I'm still going to give him the MVP award of tonight's race with all the adversity, everything he went through in tonight's event to climb all the way back up and finish in P3. That is impressive in my mind. Alex Tallman, one of those big dog racing teams, going to come home P4. Kevin Bullock, another great showing out of him, finishing P5. Nick Alford's going to come home P6. Kelly Thomas is going to come home P7. Nick Schell is going to finish just above Riley Lewis in 8th. Riley Lewis is going to come home in 9th. And Riley...
Tense battle all around. We thought, Alan staying out a little bit longer, taking a gamble, and the gamble did not pay off. I think if he came in maybe a lap after he got passed, or before he got passed, I should say, I think this would have been a different race. But staying out that much longer, it hurt him in the long run.
It did, Mike, but what a masterclass of iRacing we saw out of that 42 to climb his way. But I think he did it twice in tonight's event, starting at the tail end of that pack, climb all the way back up there. But before we talk to those podium finishers here tonight, we do want to thank our wonderful sponsors here at the High Octane Sim Series. It is that awesome sponsors you saw throughout tonight's race of Captain Jack's Smokehouse, and Captain Jack's is bringing you all that awesome barbecue. We flashed that picture on the screen throughout the broadcast here. We wish we had smell-o-vision and taste-o-vision on the screen, but we don't, unfortunately. And I think I'm a little bit too far away from Amelia Island to go pick that up. But if you are close enough to Amelia Island, or you just want to check out some awesome barbecue, go check them out on Facebook at Captain Jack's on Facebook. Also try to give them a Google. And then if you're close enough to do DoorDash, or you're able to pick up that awesome barbecue you saw on the screen, go check them out at Captain Jack's Smokehouse. They're out of Amelia Island as well. And also we want to thank our brand new sponsor here in the High Octane Sim Series, and that's W Energy. And W Energy is bringing you all that jitterless energy that you need to do your iRacing, to do just everyday tasks, Mike. And it's going to be an opportunity for me to get away from the overpriced Starbucks coffees and the jittery energy drinks that I'm used to as well. So go check them out at wdubby.gg. Use coupon code HOSS at checkout. Go check them out, as we saw one of the awesome flavors on there. I think it was the dragon, Mike. It was one of those awesome flavors we saw on there.
Yes, it's the Dragonade.
Oof, that sounds delicious. I got to go check them out. So definitely go check them out at wdubby.gg. And again, use that coupon code HOSS at checkout for all your jitterless energy needs. Make sure you can stay up and get that iRacing practice in. But ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is time to speak to our podium finishers here in tonight's event. We'll bring up my MVP of the race here, and Alan Bledsoe in that 42 to see what his thoughts are of tonight's event. Hey, Alan, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth, man. We saw you just hard charging there towards the end. You really wanted to get that race victory. I think I was just mentioning to the co-host here and the folks at home that I think I saw you do it twice where you started at the tail end of the pack and had to climb your way through. I know you come home P3 here tonight. It's not where you wanted to finish per se out of Kenny Power Motorsports, but take us through your point of view of tonight's action and how you feel this race went for you.
Well, it definitely had its ups and downs. I mean, first off, qualifying. This is the second season in a row I've gone into qualifying knowing I had a top 3 run and put it in the wall on the second lap, on my fast lap. So had to start from the rear, I just drove through the pack. Actually, no. That first run, I did not have a very good run. I used up the tires early on, and I couldn't get around Nick Alford. So I'm not real sure what happened there, to be honest. But Nick and I were definitely having a heck of a race. Oh, actually, I do know what happened. I hit the wall on like lap 5. It was rough. So that stage happened and took a little bit of optionals, and started from the back again. Worked my way all the way up into. Well, actually, no. I worked up my way up to the front to the back of the front pack, and that was when Rye turned Kevin, and me and Batby just got caught up in it. Nowhere to go. But yeah, had to use my fast repair, had to take care of the car from there on, and feel like I really did a really good job. Ended up winning that second stage, which ran out of fuel, started from the rear again.
Right.
It was rough, but hey, I did a little bit of a different strategy. Wanted to split the tires evenly, and it just wasn't enough. I used up the tires a little bit too hard on that final run, so didn't quite catch the leaders. But hey, I'll take a third place. That's a good start for a playoff race.
My question to you is: did you use all sets of tires, or did you happen to have a set in the bank, so to say?
I used all my sets. I used that extra set in stage 2 to win that stage. Just didn't put enough fuel in it. It was a stupid move on my part.
But man, we saw you hard charging through the field there, and with having to start in the tail end, and you were almost cutting down the lap times by about a second there, and picking up a stage victory in the process. How confident are you heading into next week at Daytona? I know you didn't get the win here tonight, but you got a top 3 finish. Do you feel like this championship could be in your grasp if you race like you raced here tonight?
If I can keep up the momentum, yeah, absolutely. The Roval's going to play a really huge part in this playoffs. I'm really nervous about going to the Charlotte Roval, but I mean, I hate restrictor plate racing. Daytona and Talladega are not my friends. But here lately, the past 3 or 4 restrictor plate races, I have done pretty decently. Like, I think I finished second in 2 of the last 3 plate races. So, I led a whole lot of laps. I've led a bunch. At Talladega, I think I only led 1 less lap than Nick for the most laps led. But yeah, I am somewhat confident. We just have to stay out of trouble next week. That's the biggest part. And me and my teammates will work together. We always do at the restrictor plates, and we'll be riding up there at the front. You know it.
Yes, sir. You had 2 cars finish 2-3 out of Kenny Power Motorsports stable there. Before we let you go, Alan, again, you're my MVP of the race here, even though you didn't get the win because of all the adversity you faced and the way you were able to charge your car up into the podium finish. Before we let you go, we do want to give you that awesome opportunity to shout out any sponsors or anybody that you might have had watching at home here tonight.
Well, first off, ATD is they always let me put their name on the car, so thank you, shout out to them. It's really cool to be able to put the place that I work for on the hood. My dad just got a text. He was watching this one, and thank you to my dad, who always is my biggest fan. I mean, I can't thank my teammates enough for all the support that they've given me, even in all the extracurricular words that they say. It's a lot of. I mean, James, Matthew, Batby, Matt Wilson, Riley, Ellie, all those guys. They're awesome. And what else was there? Oh, thank you guys. That's what I was thinking of. You guys do a great job every week doing the broadcasts. And I did this for my 2-week-old son now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations again from us.
Yeah, you guys heard about that a couple weeks ago at Richmond. I left that message in the chat. But yeah, his name's Nathaniel Raymond Bledsoe, and we're excited to be. Me and my wife were excited to be parents. It's definitely an awesome opportunity.
Oh man, that is amazing, and a big congratulations again from us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. You've let no time go by to get right back in the simulator and race your tail off here tonight. And Alan, want to wish you nothing but the best. We look forward. Will we see you on Thursday in the money race?
I'll see if I can make it. It all depends on whether the baby participates.
That's it. That's it. Alrighty, Alan, we want to wish you congratulations on the birth of your new son and also a big third place finish here tonight. We want to wish you a good night, and we'll see you, if not Thursday, next Friday night here in race number 2 of the playoffs.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You as well. Man, that was Alan Bledsoe, Mike, my MVP of tonight's race. With all the adversity he faced to climb his way back up there, you just got to take your hat off to the race he ran here tonight.
Most definitely, for sure. And then, we ended up making a pit towards the end of the race. And what happened? It turned out bad, but good. He didn't end up in the wall, but he ended up finishing, but not in P1.
No, but I know who did finish P1 during the regular season. That was our regular season champ, Matthew Badby, and I believe you were catching up with him on pit road. Hey, Matthew, this is Will and Mike up here in the 10-4 broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got you.
Wow, Matthew, that was one intense race. What was on your mind going through the whole race, especially with the craziness in this track?
Well, I needed to go get stage points, so I was pretty aggressive with the tire strategy. I usually don't be that aggressive at these types of tracks, but I was trying to get as much points as I could. I was just trying to survive, and I got caught up in that early wreck early in the race and had to go use my fast repair, and I fought my way up through the pack and finished second after I got wrecked in the stage. So, yeah.
We're looking forward to next week at the high banks of Daytona, Super Speedway action. First question is, will we be seeing you on Thursday night?
I might be making it, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead.
If I could ask you, Matthew, real quick, throughout that race, we saw really a battle ensuing between the same drivers up there at the top. How did you feel? Like, I know you're coming in regular season champion, but did you feel like that Parker really had something for you here tonight. He was coming on hard there towards the end of the regular season, was really battling you for wins, and I believe is now only win away from tying you for your wins on the season. Do you feel like that's your biggest competition here towards the end of the playoffs?
Yeah. I think Parker is definitely one of the better guys here, along with Riley and Allen. Those guys are really top notch here, and I think those guys will definitely be putting up a fight. So yeah.
What is your outcome and looking forward to Daytona? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think it's going to be a really crazy race. I think it's going to be most of the playoff guys just trying to survive the race for the most part, and trying not to get wrecked. But hopefully, I can get stage points and stay up towards the front and not get wrecked out, and go win the race.
We've seen this week that basically had a short field, so I believe next week all the storms will be gone, and we had some nice clear weather. Looking forward to Daytona. Here at 10-4, we're going to be looking forward to you hopefully taking another win at the high banks of Daytona.
Yeah, I sure hope I can go get a dub for you guys and all the people watching.
Definitely don't want to give anybody the jinx, so I'm definitely not going to be picking you for next week. Any sponsors, family members? I know one is down in Pit Road talking to Alan there that you like to, shout out. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, I gotta thank you for Riley and all you guys for broadcasting this. And Mother's Day is coming up, so my mom and my favorite aunt and my cousins and everybody that works on this car, especially James, making these really fire paint schemes and making them look good. And hopefully, I can go get some of these paint schemes back in Victory Lane next week. And yeah.
And well, we wish you all the best heading into week number 2 here in the playoffs in the High Octane Sim Series. Our regular season champion, Matthew Badby. Parker's chasing you with those wins there, man, but we want to wish you all the best and a good night. Hopefully, we'll see you on Thursday. If not, we'll see you back here on Friday night in week number 2 of the High Octane Sim Series. Thanks for taking the time with us.
Thank you guys. We'll see you Friday or Thursday.
Gotcha, man. You have a great night. Congratulations on that P2 finish here tonight.
Thank you.
That was Matthew Badby, Mike, and coming home P2 here tonight. He was coming for that lead there at the end. I believe he was just on the back quarter panel of Parker as they crossed the line there. So I say about a lap or two more, he could have overtaken Parker there. But as I was mentioning to Matthew, Parker now has 4 wins on the season, only 1 win shy of the tying Matthew for wins on the season.
Yeah, I believe, Matthew, he had his tires cool off just enough to give it like maybe one more final effort. And I think that's what we've seen, him, pushing it for at least, I think it was like 5 laps. The last 5 laps, he was pushing hard. And he gave it one last shot. I mean, I don't think he would have had a second shot if he had a couple more laps, but I think, he had a chance to give his tires a chance to cool and give it one last ditch effort to try to get that W.
And speaking of getting dubs and getting W's, Mike, I believe I hear a faint sound of the Baja Men playing in the background because I believe someone has let the dogs out here in tonight's Texas Motor Speedway, as we are now joined by our race winner out of Big Dog Racing, Parker Collins. And Parker, man, that was a huge win to start off these playoff proceedings here in the High Octane Sim Series. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race and what led for you to take home this victory here tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid race all around, but a lot of laps. I got a really good car all night. Stage 1 went really well. In stage 2, I should have took tires, but still got some stage points. And then stage 3, kept our head in it. Made a couple of good moves. Was able to get a pretty good lead after the green flag pit stop, and thankfully had just enough there at the very end to hold off Badby.
We saw that at the end where Badby was coming. Did you feel that the 42 of Alan Bledsoe was coming as well? As we saw him go through a lot of adversity in tonight's event, but was coming, actually finished P3. Did you see him coming at all? Did you get any feeling that he was charging on those fresh ease tires?
At the beginning of the run, I knew he was going to be really, really quick. I mean, he was almost a second faster than me at a couple points during the run, but I know Alan, and I know that he was driving the absolute crap out of that car. So I kind of had a feeling that he was gonna have his stuff burned up, but if he did get to me, so I mean at that point I didn't really have a whole lot of fear about him getting to me. I was worried about Matthew, and I was trying to make sure that I had saved enough stuff there at the end to make sure that I could hold off a late charge from him, and thankfully I did there at the end.
Yeah, man, you held off Matthew. I was saying about 1 or 2 laps more, he may have had you there. But one incident that I do want to talk about before we let you go here and celebrate your first or your 4th win on the season here in the High Octane Sim Series was that pit road incident with Riley Hoots there. Was it that Riley checked up when you two were entering onto pit road, or did you just come into pit road just a little bit hot and that made contact with the back bumper there?
It was a weird situation there. I definitely didn't mean to get into him at all. I raced him clean and he's raced me clean, and I don't have any bad feelings towards him at all. But I tried to call out a late pit road call because I knew Matthew and Alan were behind me and I didn't want them to run me over or anything. So I tried to call it as late as possible, and he had come down and pretty much called an audible because I don't think he was expecting me to come down when I did. And so I think he was really hard on the brakes. I was really hard on the brakes. We were just differing speeds, and unfortunately it got into him and took him out of contention. So, I mean, I feel bad. It definitely wasn't intentional at all. Looks that I had to end that way, but still came out on the other side and was able to keep going.
Yeah, it doesn't really take away from the kind of race that you ran here tonight at Texas. Never really faltered out of the top 3 at all. Never really saw your car in danger at all either. Kind of just held your line throughout the race. Worked really well with your teammates up there. Alex was up there for a while with you. Too bad that Riley Lewis was up there for you just a little bit as well. But awesome job of keeping that car. There's a few incidences through the race where there's only 2 or 3 cars running in that lead pack there. So great job of holding your line up there and coming home with the victory here tonight. And my co-host Mike, do you have any questions for our winner here tonight at Texas?
Actually, you did answer or ask the question I was going to say about with Riley Hoots. Did Riley say anything to you after the checkered flag?
No, he didn't say anything really. I mean, he said he was disappointed that I did what I did, which, like, again, it wasn't intentional or anything. I just you guys trying to go into pit road as hard as they can. I mean, he did door slam me a couple times after the caution, which, I mean, I don't care at that point. But yeah, I mean, he has a right to be upset. But like I said, totally had no intent. Was just trying to get into pit road hard, and so I could make up some time and try and pull ahead of those guys when I came out.
With next week being Daytona, hopefully you two can clear differences so that way different factors don't come into play next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that, if it comes down to me and another car battling to the line, that I'm not on the inside or outside of Riley, because it might not end well for me. So
Well, we'll be on the lookout for that next week at Daytona in week number 2. But you're heading into week number 2. The big dog here in the High Octane Sim Series is all the points reset, and you picked up some awesome stage points as well as the race victory here tonight. But before we let you go, Parker, we do want to give you that wonderful opportunity to shout out any sponsors you may have had in tonight's event, and also anybody you might have had watching at home.
yeah, I just want to shout out everybody at Tiny Dog Racing. We put a lot of hard work into figuring the track out, and we put on a good show out there, and excited to go out to Talladega or Daytona next week and do it again.
Yes, sir. And before we let you go, will we see you in the money race on Thursday night?
Unfortunately, probably not. I have another league that I usually run on Thursdays, so unfortunately, gonna have to miss this one.
Oh, that's no worries. We'll definitely see you next Friday night here in the High Octane Sim Series. You're going to head into week 2 with a victory underneath your belt. The big dog of the series here heading into Daytona. We want to wish you a big congratulations from us here at 10-4 Broadcast, and we look forward to what you have in store for us next Friday night. And we want to thank you for taking the time with us here.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
And Mike, that was Parker Collins in that 54 machine, and what a race Parker ran in that 54. Mike never really faltered outside of the top 3, as I mentioned, but found a way to come home with the race victory. And as you spoke about that incident with Riley Hoots, feels really bad about what happened, but it almost sounds like Riley Hoots understands what exactly happened on that. And there's just two racers that, unfortunate things happen, and it's just the way things go.
Definitely. You have your incidents at short tracks, but here, that was definitely a unlucky turn of events late in a run. Definitely making changes on the fly, and we've seen that tonight.
Yeah, Mike, what an action-packed race it was from the beginning to the end. Even though we only had 2, 3, 4 car packs running at one time in those green flag runs, it was lead change after lead change after lead change. Nobody really wanted to seem to give up positions. We had a side-by-side battle between Riley Hoots and Parker Collins. I believe that lasted like 4 or 5 laps, if I'm not mistaken. And they only touched one time, and we see it in the modifieds where they run side by side. If they touch just a little bit, it's going to send a car up the track. Those two drivers are so skilled in what they do on the simulator that they were able to hold those lines, stay side by side, almost inches apart from each other, and nothing happened. It only was on pit road where an incident happened, where they were on entry onto pit road, and you see those instances happen, but big ups to Parker Collins to coming home with the race victory here tonight. As I said, we sought out him to close out that regular season, and what a big start for Big Dog Racing there, and big confidence booster for Alan Bledsoe in that 42 as well, Mike, because you saw him coming into this playoff race with no wins under his belt. He actually has it in his bio, the points leader with no wins on the season, but did a great job of showing what he has in store for us the rest of the way here in the playoffs.
Most definitely. I think he's going to be the one at the end, I should say, that's going to possibly come home with the championship. But at the end, we're just through race 1. We still have a couple more races to go, and they have to get through Daytona. And when you talk about super speedways, you're always talking about the big one, because it can happen, and who knows, will happen.
Yeah, and after this race here tonight at Texas, we do head to Daytona, as you were mentioning, Mike. But then after that, some of the drivers were mentioning was the Charlotte Roval. So that could really shake things up in race number 3 here. That's actually going to be a 5-race shootout here in the playoffs. We got tonight's race at Texas. Daytona's next week. Charlotte Roval is going to be the 3rd race, so right in between there. Then you're going to head to Michigan and Homestead. It's going to close out the proceedings here in the High Octane Sim Series. But ladies and gentlemen, as you see on the screen here, opposite day for me here on camera, we do have a money race here in the High Octane Sim Series, Mike, and I believe you are racing in this event.
I am. I'm going to be racing. I believe I'm going to have 2 of my teammates also be entering the race and also be sponsored by my team. So definitely got some teammates taking the high banks of Daytona. And, we've seen tonight that we were using the old Gen 6 cars. We're going to be using the new next gen cars you see on track every weekend right now at our Darlington this week for Throwback Weekend. Hopefully to have a little bit of throwback myself going into Daytona. 120 laps. Oh man, I'm looking forward to it.
And we are excited as well. As you see, it's going to be broadcasted live by 10-4 Broadcasting. Here will be live on Thursday night. We are working on a double header action as well for Thursday night. We're trying to welcome a new league into 10-4 Broadcasting here as well. So keep an eye out on that as well, Mike. But this race does start at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Can't get my hands right here. There we go. At 7 p.m. on Thursday night is a $20 entry, but you are racing for cash money there, as you see by the flyer. If you want more information on this event, go check out High Octane Sim Series on Facebook. Go send them a message, get all the information that you need to race in this event here, signups, all that good stuff there, Mike. Man, I am excited to see what these drivers have in store when you're racing for some real cash.
Definitely, we see it in the big show. It does get hectic, but we see these drivers every week, and who knows, might be a new name, a new face in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. And that doesn't concede the action here at 10-4 Broadcasting for the rest of the week. We are live again tomorrow night. You'll be joined by Patrick Morrison and Mitchell Adams, bringing you live action out of the Powerhouse Racing League, Mike. And that league is concluding. There are only about 5 or 6 races left in that series and a couple of races before the playoffs start, and things are getting real crazy in there. It's almost similar to this series here where you have 2 or 3 drivers that are really racing for the championship in that series. So be sure to tune in to them at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night out of the Powerhouse Racing League. On Sunday night, you can check me and still can't get my hands right here. Me and Mike Maddox on Sunday night bringing you live action out of the East Coast Modified Tour. They run modifieds in that series. As the title describes, we'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern bringing you that live action. And then you'll see me and Mike once again on Tuesday night bringing you live action out of the Virtual Racing League. And that action does have modifieds as well. So if you want more iRacing action for your week, maybe Mother's Day, you want a little bit of iRacing action after you take your mom out for a nice dinner or awesome stuff as that, go check us out at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night, Mike. But what a race it was for us here in the High Octane Sim Series. We saw Parker Collins pick up his 4th win of the season. He is full of confidence heading into week 2 here in the playoffs, and I am excited to see what that Big Dog Racing team has in store the rest of the way.
Definitely. I just want to make a correction. Tim will actually be here for Tuesday as he'll be in-race admin for the Tuesday Night League. Hopefully we do have some things in the works in that.
They're at the race control position to make sure things don't go as crazy as they were last week. But for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, we want to wish everybody a great night. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's race. If you do get an opportunity to do so, go check out Captain Jack's Smokehouse. Wrong hand right there. Captain Jack Smokehouse right here in the corner. Go check them out. And also check out Dubby Energy, as Mike's pointing out on the screen there. Dubby Energy is a brand new sponsor here in the High Octane Sim Series. You can check them out at wdubby.gg. Use coupon code H.O.S.S at checkout for all those awesome discounts. But for myself, William Tiller, and Mike Maddox, we want to wish y'all a great night and a happy Mother's Day to all